In this week's episode of Make It with Calvin, I have Tom Knapp explaining how he uses 3D printing either directly or indirectly to build some absolutely incredible, really small model trains. So let's talk about it. So for those of you who don't know, Tom Knapp is an extremely talented not only designer, but pattern maker and also architect and model railroader. Mostly what he specializes in is extremely small scale models in N scale or NN3, which makes N scale look ridiculously tiny. It's effectively N scale that's on narrow gauge track, which is Z scale, and I'll have links to it in the description. But let's just say these models are really tiny, but the level of detail and quality that he does is just absolutely incredible. So when I was over at the show, Richard, one of our club members, was like, you've got to come meet this guy. He does 3D printing. I mentioned what you do, how you have a printer, things like that. So I got to talking with him. He was kind of interested in, alternative ways of making masters because he was having issues with the acrylic, the HDA from Shapeways not burning out the best in investments, and casting wax models not being the highest of quality, things like that. So had a really interesting off-camera conversation, and I asked him, hey, would you be cool if the next morning when I come on in, if you just do a little bit of talking about what we just talked about, things like that? And he goes, sure, totally. So I went to film it, and sadly his desk light was creating a ton of interference that got picked up by the camera's microphone, and tried to do the best that I could to remove the audio buzz. Believe me, it was way worse before I did this. So sorry about the audio, guys, but I will have closed captions for that area, and I'll try and make a typewritten transcript as well of exactly what he said. But the knowledge here is just incredible. Even if you aren't into model trains, there's some really good information here about how you could use 3D printing directly or indirectly in model trains. And I'll also have links down below to some of the models that he's done as well. So thanks again, Tom, for the interview. Sorry about the audio, and let's go check it out.
I'm an architect, but I'm also a model railroader, and I've been doing pattern work and design for some of the manufacturers for 20-25 years. As technologies have advanced, they've given modelers a way to create unique models. There's laser cutting, photo etching, casting in RTB molds and resin, and now 3D printing. And I design parts in 3D CAD that are then printed in a plastic or wax medium, and that is lost wax cast in brass. Some products that some manufacturers produce, they print a model for every single casting they make. Others are produced as masters. Masters are refined and then put into a two-part mold. Then you can inject wax in the mold to create lost wax brass, or other types of molds or centrifugal molds that you can use for casting white metal parts. This is a model, Porter 040, that is a lost wax brass casting on a motorized chassis, and it's typical of some of the unique products you can create using 3D modeling, 3D printing, and then different casting techniques. Let's see, what else? This is an example of a centrifugally cast white metal underframe where the mold was produced from a 3D printed acrylic pattern. And that ends up going into a tank car where the pattern for the tank was made into a mold, which the parts are then cast in a two-part urethane resin to create a hybrid model. This model also uses photoetched parts for ladders, brake wheels, and stirrup steps. So quite often the best solution is a hybrid model. This is a 3D print of a Virginian and Truckee miner's caboose. It had seats along the sides, and the miners would sit in there. The unique feature was it had spittoons fastened to the floor all the way along. And this is the same model, painted, weathered with narrow gauge, in this case it's standard gauge Virginian and Truckee trucks that a modeler has posted on Shapeways, and you can buy through Shapeways. And here again, it's got etched brass, platform rails, and wire grab irons, so it's a hybrid model. Anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you so much. It was awesome.
Yep. Okay.